let's get dangerous. A few of us got it. Tell me who we're drawing.
Darkwing Duck.
Darkwing Duck. Let's go ahead and start it off with a circle right about the middle of the page.
What up?
Start a circle.
Copy him. Kind of.
Get that circle in there, and we're going to bring a line right through the middle. We're going to go straight on through with this. I'll extend that up a little ways and down just a little bit. We're not going to have much of his mouth. We're going to give him this very stern expression. He's going to be looking dangerous. Now, we do need an eye line for him, though. And that one is going to go across towards the bottom of the circle here. I'd say a quarter of the way from the bottom. Go ahead and bring that out both sides. And now we have pretty much everything we need to get started. So let's start placing in some of those features. I'm going to go ahead and start with his duck bill. Let's add in a candy cane shape. I'm going to start at the eye line and pull the C curve. We're going to go right up against the circle, down, and we're going to extend it out quite a ways. So this is a little bit of a longer bill. Flip that and do the same on the other side. So we're adding in another C curve and then turning that into a long candy cane. For the rest of the bill here, we want to bring across a very flat hill. We're going to go directly across the middle, leaving a little bit of space in between our candy canes and our hill so that we can connect it together here. And just a little flat C curve, almost a straight line down to connect it. This is going to make it look kind of flat though, so follow this top line here and just very lightly bring a hill across. We're going to replicate this one right here in the middle, just a little bit shorter, create a little bit more of that bill. And then we're not giving him an open mouth. Since we want him to look kind of dark and dangerous, we're going to add in a closed mouth here. So lower bill, where his bottom lip, is just going to be closed. I'm adding in this same hill, and then pulling up two little C curves here to kind of close it up. Now you can go ahead and start locking these lines in. We definitely want to keep all of this. We can go back over a few more times so they're really standing out here on the page. This is what we call locking it in. And that's really going to help us see all of these features here. Definitely very important. Now the Darkwing Duck cartoons he is a satirical character, and it was actually made very last minute. It started out because originally Disney wanted to do, I think it's Rocco or Rocky and Bullwinkle, but then they realized as they were starting, they didn't have the rights to the characters. So they were like, uh-oh, we got to do something else. And they employed a director that had worked on Aladdin and a ton of other stuff to create a new cartoon, and we got Darkwing Duck. It took a lot of inspiration from the comic Shadow. A lot of his design came from that, but it was definitely more of a satirical character. Let's go ahead and move up now. We're going to add in his cheeks. He's got this fluff that sticks out pretty far. Keep this light for now. We're going to lock it in towards the end, but I want to go ahead and start building it in here. I'm going to lightly add in very flat hills underneath our candy cane shape. We're just going to pull this up right above that. Same thing over here on the other side. So these kind of wings for him. Now the next part is going to be his hat, and he has this very big hat, super long going across. If you have a lot of space on your page, that's perfect. The bigger the hat this is, or the wider it is, the better. So I'm going to go ahead and just start bringing across a very flat letter U. You can see I'm really extending this out far. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to flip it and do more of a hill this time over to the right. For the top of this, we want to show it coming a little bit flatter. We're going to bring it across and connect it into our hill. And then this right side, we're going to have it go behind the head. So I'm going to do more of a very flat letter U, going to the end, just so that we have everything together here now. the top of the hat, I actually like to kind of start at the top along the circle here. We're going to bring out a curve and lightly come off the circle, bring this up a little ways, and take that to the middle. We're going to extend this upward. For the band of the hat, you can go ahead and just bring a very flat hill. I usually end that or have that sit right above the top of the circle there. But now that we have this, let's go ahead and start locking this in as well. I'm going to keep a lot of these lines. I'm going to start at the top here, this top section of the hat. And with Darkwing Duck, they actually wanted to name him a little bit differently. They wanted it to be more like 007, and so they were working with the 00. But then they realized that the Bond franchise actually has ownership of the 00 in front of 007, so they couldn't even have that as the name. And I think one of the animators, I can't exactly remember, but one of the animators, I believe, ended up coming up with the name here for him. This cartoon was actually pretty strange for its time. Normally cartoons on Disney Channel and ABC only ended up with about 60 episodes. Usually only ran for about 2 seasons. But ABC really loved the Darkwing Duck cartoons and it asked for a 3rd season. So Darkwing Duck here actually had 91 episodes, and all 91 of them came out in 1 year, which I'm sure the artists were dying by the end of that. That's so much work. Now that we've got his hat in here though, we're about halfway done. How are we doing so far? Okay, wow, all right. I'll give you a second to catch up, and then we will continue to move on. Does anybody know who the voice is for Darkwing Duck? Jim Cummings, yeah. If you don't know the name, he's done so much. Like if you look at his IMDb, the credits go on forever. He's done literally everything. But a big one that he's done is actually Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, he's the voice of Winnie the Pooh. Pretty crazy. Very different, but he can do so many different voices. It's really awesome. Let's go ahead and move back in here. We have to add in those eyes, but first we need to kind of finish up the bill. Right now it's just extending into his head here. We're going to bring a roller coaster across. I'm going to start with these 2 hills. We're going to bring those right on top of the smile lines. And in the middle, we'll add in another hill, very flat. Just lightly add in the letter U to connect it up. And if you have it there, if you like what you got, go ahead and lock this in. Make that part of the bill stand out. I know it looks kind of strange, but this is actually part of his mask as well. It's going to be sitting right on top of this. And I want to lightly pull from the hat. We're going to extend down towards the bill here on each side so that we can start adding in the mask here. I'm going to pull a curve right on up from the bill to that line. And then we can go ahead and lock this section in here. Up on both sides, we've got the mask. And then for the cheeks here on each side, that little bit of fluff, to give it a little bit more detail, now that we have all those other things in there, I'm just going to add in these little hills to make it look like feathers just sticking out. Bring that in, lock those lines in there. Darkwing Duck has actually worked with Launchpad, which is pretty cool. We actually sometimes get to bring that character into our sketches for Duck's Day. So if you ever come for Duck's Day, come to the Animation Academy. We've got some cool characters that we bring out. Very special day. And then last thing we need to add here is going to be those eyes. And we're going to give him pretty much the same look as like Angry Donald. So he's going to have those angry eyebrows. We want to start with some basic guidelines for this stuff. I'm lightly going to bring in here this letter B towards the middle. To go back in here and actually build this up, we want to start with a C curve. Going right against our center line. And then we're going to pull this up as if we're making a hook shape, a letter J, a ladle here, setting right up to do the hat. I'll do the same thing over here on the left side. We're going to pull this up and bring it right to the hat. For his eyes, we are going to add in some ovals. We want them really large here. We're going to bring them. I leave a little bit of space so they're not touching the bottom of the duckbill. But it's definitely helpful to do the entire shape first. That way you can get a nice smooth curve. There we go. Go ahead and lock this in, and we're going to have a very spooky looking duck. So we will change that in just a second. We'll add in his pupils. Hopefully these are starting to shape up. For those pupils, we're going to add in some ovals as well. And just like we did for the eye shape, you want to do the whole shape first, and then we'll go back and actually lock in what we can still see in the eyeball there. Shade that in nice and dark, just like that. If you want to add any extra details, you're more than welcome to. You know, his mask is going to be that dark color. You can shade in the hat as well. But if you do shade things in, definitely try to use the side of your pencil to get that in there. Go ahead and shade in all of that. This outside part of the hat on the right, since it is kind of underneath, I'm going to shade that a little bit darker. You don't have to do different levels of shading though. That's more of an extra credit thing. But it's up to you. And there we go. Now this is going to be pretty much everything you need for your sketch of Darkwing Duck. There's one last thing all of us artists need to do though. Anybody know what that is?
Find it.
Yeah, go ahead and find a place on your page